Hi, I'm Jason Pearson. Today we're going to look at rucking. Rucking is walking around with something heavy on your back. It's pretty easy. It's a great workout, and I'll explain all that on the ruck. So it's important to use a good bag when you're rucking. I like it a lot. It's got padding back here. It's got padding everywhere. You've also got a spot in this one that you can put a water bladder. This is where the weights are. I've got a 30-pound weight in there right now. I have another one that is a 15-pound that I can add, but for now I'm doing 30. You want to have the weight distributed in a way that is not super taxing on the body. So the difference between a rucksack, which is a backpack, and a weighted vest is where the weight is. A weighted vest tends to have it distributed on the front and back, so the weight is pulling pretty much straight down and very evenly. So that is very conducive to being able to run, work out in it, because the weight is distributed so well. Now a backpack, on the other hand, the weight is in the back and pulling down. So it gives a couple different benefits, and then there's some things that maybe you would want to avoid depending on your health history and things. So one of the benefits of the backpack is that in order to stay upright, you have to engage your core to stabilize. So that's great. It also keeps your posture in the right spot. So your shoulders get pulled back. You're really upright. When you're wearing weight and walking, obviously you've got resistance. So you're building up muscles in your legs just by doing this because it's extra weight. Today I'm just going to go for about an hour and call it, because I don't want to aggravate the hamstring by doing something too much. Something else about rucking that's pretty interesting is that my legs feel the same soreness that I feel after running. So my quads burn, feel it in my calves, and it's pretty cool that it's building those same muscles up with not the same impact. So running it's just a lot of impact on your joints. Rucking, because you're just walking, you're not hitting yourself with the same impact. But my meniscus tear in my left knee is pretty significant. So I don't want to do that level of pounding on my joints, especially my knees, unless I'm actually playing Ultimate, and I want to play it as long as I can. And it seems to me that the way to do that is to limit the amount of actual pounding on my knees I get outside of it. That's partly why I use the rucking then, is to get those muscles built up in a different way. All right, so a little over 15 minutes in. I'll just tell you what's going on. I'm feeling it in my shoulders now. So that's usually the first thing that starts to ache a little bit. So obviously when you go up a hill wearing weight, you are going to feel it. But when you go down a hill, I'm going down a gradual hill right now. It's also a great way to train, because you want to take your time going down the hill and really stabilize, really get your hamstrings involved, and build up the muscles on that side of your body as well. And the steeper the hill, the more activation you get in your hamstrings, and essentially the braking mechanisms of our legs. Something that's important to think about when rucking is your clothing and your shoes. So for clothes, you want something that is not going to chafe. So because you get this extra pressure from the backpack, so you don't want something that will chafe against your skin in any way. So I like wearing wicking material. For shoes, you want something comfortable that you can go a long distance in. Your running shoes would probably work great. I generally wear boots, my hiking boots, because I like the extra support in the ankles just in case. All right, here is the longest of the gauntlet hills. I'm not sure you can quite see how big this is from here, but let's see. Right now my heart rate's at 82, going up the hill. Just about at the crest, my heart rate has gone up over 100 in just a couple of minutes. So hills are pretty good for rucking. I also need to show you how I'm filming this thing. I've got this crazy neck rig up and I put the phone right here, and it allows me to be hands-free while I'm doing this. And I'm sure I look absolutely ridiculous. I do need to sort of reiterate how much walking down a hill actually fires up your muscles. I'm actually feeling my quads almost as much as I did going up the hill. Definitely feeling my hamstrings. This is the part of the gauntlet that's got the longest continual grade. Made it to the top. Heart rate is gonna get over 110. I'm starting to sweat a lot. I'm starting to feel it all. I'm about a little over halfway through, half an hour in. Definitely feeling it. And going back down this hill. So the recommended weight you want to work up to, if you've never done it before, you want to start light. Work your way up. I recommend going up to about 30% of your body weight. Another great thing about rucking is it gets you outdoors, and you know, you get to sort of see nature, listen to these birds. A nice little park down here, a portage on in the wild. You know, you never know what you're going to see when you're out on a ruck. You can do this, you know, on trails. Actually makes it a little bit more of a workout if you're on a trail, because then you're stabilizing for your feet as well. I'm on concrete, so the feet aren't doing a whole lot. But if you're out on a trail and you have to like worry about roots and uneven ground, it makes it even more of a workout. So that is always a good thing to do. You know what else is a good thing to do is subscribe to my channel. It really makes a huge difference. It's free. You just got to click that subscribe button down below, and it really makes a huge difference. I'm gunning to try to get to 500 subscribers by the summer. I'm a ways away from there. So if you want to help me out with that, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you very much. All right, and here's the third of the hills. This is the shortest, but also the steepest. Especially near the top, it just gets steeper as you go. This is a brutal one to sprint up because it's short enough that you can do it, but it just never eases up. So I'm at the top. Yeah, heart rate's going into the 120s. So in terms of length of rucking, as you're starting out, I would just, you know, go for half an hour, see how it feels. Work your way up to an hour, and then once you can do an hour at the weight that is you start with, then you can think about increasing your weight. Some of the things to look out for with rucking, well, you probably don't want to do it every day unless you're young, is it can compress your spine. There is potential for injury in your back and spine from carrying the weight too much. There's no reason to do it more than a couple times a week, 2 or 3. I usually will do one of these big ones once a week maybe, depending on what else I'm doing. You know, they use this in the armed forces to get people in shape. This is where it came from. They put those backpacks on and they go do stuff, and they do it every day. But they're young. For those of us that are older, they're using this as an alternative for running to build the muscles up without the impact. You got to make sure you don't do this too much, because then you're going to have a different kind of impact on your system from just the weight in general. Okay, so benefits of rucking. As I mentioned before, you've got your posture, similar muscle growth to running without the impact. But the other great thing about it is this extra weight and the walking stimulates bone growth. So as we get older, we have more chance of getting osteoporosis, osteopenia, bone density loss. And wearing a weighted vest or rucking is a great way to stimulate the bones to grow. And really any resistance training does it, but this is one that's a relatively easy way to do it because you're just walking. Total calories 390, average heart rate 93, easy effort, elevation 294, 1 hour, 3 miles, essentially average pace just over 20 minutes a mile. So something that is really cool about rucking is when you take the backpack off, you instantly feel like you could jump to the moon. Like you feel really light. I feel my spine like expand upwards. It's a great feeling. So I'll have a link below to the gear that I use, also to a great resource, this website that talks about rucking and kind of goes over how to ruck and why to ruck, and he's a wonderful resource. He's got links to different backpack brands and different things in there as well, which is where I learned about the one I have. So if you're interested in rucking, check that site out. It's awesome. Hope you found that interesting, and as usual, stay healthy.